I'm with director TJ O'Grady Peyton and producer Colmán McKenna, and we're talking about your short film Room Taken. TJ, why don't you just give us the quick log line? What's the story about for Room Taken?
I haven't got my elevator pitch down, and I didn't realize this was a video interview. I would have put on a more nicer outfit. Yeah, so what's the story about? I guess in a nutshell, the story is about a man who is experiencing homelessness, who's new to Ireland, and without anywhere else to go, he secretly sneaks into an elderly blind woman's house and starts living in her house without her knowing. And it's about their relationship and lots of other things in between. But it's a lot more, I guess, hopeful or sincere than it is creepy, if you get me.
Yeah, no, definitely you get that when you watch the film. How did the story come about? I think you were given the script, right?
Yeah, well, I was working. I direct commercials, and I was working on a commercial for the Irish Cancer Society a couple of years ago, and I was looking for a short film to bring to a specific scheme in Ireland called Focus Shorts, which is kind of like the leading short film scheme that I guess gives directors an opportunity to establish a relationship with the national funder in order to get their first feature off the ground soon after-ish, if you can. And I spoke with one of the creative directors on the shoot of the commercial, and he was a writer, and he had a script, and we got talking, and he sent it to me, and it was a very early draft of Room Taken, and I just was really moved by the story, and I guess saw a lot of potential in the characters and the dynamic. So we started working on it together. And after a bit of time kind of developing it further, we brought it to Colmán at one of Ireland's leading film production companies called Vico Films. And he read it and liked it. And yeah, what did you think when you read the script, Colmán?
I mean, I remember reading it for the first time, because I think what struck me so much is that, like, because one of the characters is avoiding the other in such a confined space, there was so little dialogue. So Michael, was able to describe these scenarios so wonderfully without dialogue, and he came across with such heart. It was really funny in places. It was really sad in places, but neither of these characters ever spoke to one another. So I think that was just what hit me the most in that first draft that I read. And you kind of, you just want to make a film when it has that much in it in 12 pages.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, because you're kind of watching the movie, and it's a guy who's kind of sneaking around a blind woman's apartment, not in a creepy way, but there's that thought in the back of your head that says, well, she's blind, so she's got heightened senses. And then how does he not get found out? How can he walk through like a ghost? And you address it. And I think that's one of the best things about the script is, you understood that, and it plays a part in that.
Yeah, it was definitely like believability was a big concern. And I guess reached out to a lot of like friends and collaborators and people I've got relationships with in the film industry, and tried to get their input, like from other filmmakers and some really talented filmmakers. And we received some good feedback that probably helped finesse the story, but then also in terms of how we staged it, we tried to find a location which had enough space, even though it's like not a very big home, but enough space that someone could sneak around and not be on top of the other person. So we were constantly trying to think about how can we make this feel real. So that was a definite challenge.
Well, then I need to ask you, our audience is primarily indie filmmakers. So I'm kind of coming at the interview from that approach. But, you are given the script. What is it that, what were kind of the things you thought about in terms of changes that need to be made or challenges to really get to a point where you felt comfortable? Okay, this is the story we're going to tell. And I ask it from a collaborator standpoint or viewpoint for that.
I don't know, Colmán, if you have any thoughts. Like, I can think of something from a production point of view in terms of like the opening scene was originally in like a different house on a couch, and we kind of changed some stuff to be streamlined with our schedule. Don't know if you want to talk about that. I've probably other things I can talk about, but is there anything that comes to mind for you?
I mean, not immediately. There was so many such. I mean, there were so many parts that we really were leaning on each other for, and I think like one of them that TJ mentioned there was the house that we shot in. We weren't able to get a location manager shoots in Ireland. Last year there was just so many. There were people, rolling from series to film to short to just people were so busy that we just weren't able to get ourselves a location manager. So that's what, like, one thing, myself, TJ and Michael, and then Evan, our cinematographer, and then Stephen, our first AD, then Ellen, our production designer. Everybody was just out searching for this house. So I think, yeah, that's one of the things that we were all just, we all had this idea of what the house would look like, and then eventually we found the house that we ended up shooting in, and I don't think it was that any of us actually envisioned. But then I think it was Evan, our production designer, was like, "This is the one." We were like,
with the house, basically, there was a room in the house which was a young kid's bedroom, and from a production point of view, the original script had the opening scene in like a friend's living room, and he was sleeping on his friend's couch. But because it would have been like a lot of effort and challenging to kind of go for that one scene to a different location, and we had a small amount of time, we reworked the script to be in a little kid's bedroom. So the location kind of gave us inspiration to rework the script and story so that we could be a little bit more, I guess, shoot more and not, have some kind of practical change to kind of spend more time being able to shoot with the actors. But then another big change from the script was that when there's a scene where a social worker comes to visit the blind lady, and Isaac, our lead character, is in the living room, and she just kind of walks by him and sits at the table, and he's hiding around corners and trying to sneak around in the same room as them. That wasn't originally in the script, but when we were kind of talking about things, we were thinking about how do we ramp up the stakes, how to create more drama. And originally he was just upstairs and he heard her come in. But when you put him in the middle of the action and he has to literally navigate and hide around corners and like try and, James Bond his way out of the scenario, that just made it feel a little bit more suspenseful. So that was a big change in the script.
Yeah. So I'm looking at TJ. I'm looking at your IMDb, and you've got a very long string of short films. I'm just curious, what is it about short films that intrigues you, and what was it about this story that kind of captured you and said, I have to tell this story?
Well, truthfully, I'm totally over short films. I loved making them, and I've made a lot over the years, and I've learned a lot and made a lot of mistakes, and I'm appreciative of the experience I've had from making them, and it's been great to make shorts and stuff. But like, I'm really, really gung ho about trying to find a feature film now, so that's my big focus. And what was the second part of your question about this?
Yeah, what was it in terms of, because I have to believe that as a filmmaker, you see a script and something grabs you. And at this stage in your career, what was it about Room Taken that grabbed you?
Well, it's a good question. There's a lot of things, like from a kind of story point of view, it hit a lot of different kind of emotions. So there was a lot of suspense. There was moments of comedy or levity, and then there was moments of heart. And I felt like, those ingredients are a really enjoyable experience if you can achieve them, that audience will like watching. But also from a kind of, I guess, character point of view, there was one scene where our lead character is speaking to who she believes is like the ghost of her deceased husband. And when I read that script and I read that scene, like, I was as close to crying as I've ever been reading a script, especially a short film script. It's hard to get a lot of emotion in a short film script, but I was super moved by that scene. And maybe because my father, like, you know, had like, he died like a year and a half ago, and he was going through stuff at the time of that when I was reading that. So maybe there was kind of like a connection to that scene that I felt really kind of, I don't know, drawn to making the story. It was probably that scene that got me most, I guess, excited in a weird way.
Now I have to ask this, and this is probably for Colmán, but just talking to you before and now, it's like, it seems like you're busy, and that has to be good for the Irish film and television community. What is the indie film scene like in Ireland today?
It's a little bit calmer than last year. I think last year was pretty crazy. I think it was really the first full year post COVID that people were much more freely able to shoot, and there was a lot of shoots that were maybe postponed and just were like, if we just get into 2023, we can shoot. And then it was really busy. But like this year again, Vico Films, who I work with, we've just finished a TV series at the start of the year, and now we're working on another one as a sort of a co-production with one of our colleagues in another production company. But because of Screen Ireland, the indie scene is booming. Like it really is, and they take chances on new talent, and they're really engaged in the independent sector here. They're not all bureaucrats and box stickers. They're filmmakers themselves, and so they're really on hand to help and to encourage. So it's like, it is, you know, anytime we go to a market or a festival abroad, they're always really jealous that we have Screen Ireland, because it's there. You know, it goes.
Shout out to Screen Ireland, our funders.
Yeah, also short film.
Yeah, but I'll just say, I live not too far from the Newport Beach Film Festival, and
nice.
They've had a connection.
We've submitted.
Oh yeah. Well, good luck.
For us.
I forgot who's the actor from the IT Crowd. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
In which one in the IT Crowd was he? Is he
the male actor?
In our film?
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah, Chris O'Dowd. That's right.
Chris O'Dowd. Sorry, the Irish dude. Okay, I was like, none of our actors in the IT Crowd. I don't think. I need to check that out.
Yeah. No, he's been at the festival a few times. And
nice. Yeah. There's an Irish connection. I don't know why that is. It's Yeah,
I'm trying to figure that one out too. But it's great to have Ireland there represented. Okay, well, so yeah, let's talk about how to see Room Taken. I believe you're talking about you're currently on the festival tour. And trying to get, I think you're already Oscar qualified, if I'm not mistaken.
We won Cleveland. So, that was amazing. Cleveland International Film Festival. We went there about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, and we actually won, which was unreal. Paul Sloop, the programmer there, absolute hero. And now we've submitted to loads of festivals. The next one we're playing at is one in Croatia called the Postira Seaside Festival. And we've submitted to, honestly, I think about 80 others, and we're waiting to hear back. So in terms of when it's screening next in America or all over the world, it's still TBC. But we have a distributor on board now. So they're sending out the film to various platforms and various TV stations and various like airlines, all these kind of places. So hopefully it'll be somewhere, you know, convenient for your audience. But yeah, we don't know yet.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll see you in Newport Beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you, everybody.